Okay, alrighty. So, I think we're all good. We got audio. Yes. Yep. Alright, so hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Okay, so we're back here today and we're going to be building a good one. We got a new case that we haven't featured here before. We got a 9800 X3D. You know, what's not to love? So look, let's get stuck right into it. No need to muck around. I got nothing else to say. This is just one of the many sort of 5090 ready rigs that we're going to be putting together over the next few days. So we got the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D 8-core 16-thread CPU. We have a 32GB kit of Adata XPG Lancer memory. So this is 6000 MHz CL30 RAM. We have an Asus Prime X670-P Wi-Fi motherboard. We have a Kingston NV3 Gen 4 NVMe SSD. We have a PNY XLR8 RTX 4080 Super. We have a Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 850 watt. We have a MSI Mag coreliquid, what is this, the A13 all-in-one liquid cooler. And our case here is the Antec C8 Constellation, which is Antec's version of the Lian Li D11. So, sorry. Seems like everyone these days is doing a Lian Li D11 clone. And Antec's no different, apparently. So we'll have a look at this case. We'll as we build it, I'll point out any features that are kind of different about this case compared to a normal D11. On the surface, it looks pretty similar. Honestly, I can't see too much of a difference here with it. But yeah, we'll have a look at it as we go. So look, let's get stuck right into it. So I'll go over and I'll share the screen here. This is what the motherboard that we're working with at the moment actually is. So here's a good look at it. It's much easier for me to put together a image there to share with everyone than try to hold it up to the camera while I'm live. It's really kind of awkward to do that. Yeah, Wi-Fi antenna. But everything else in the box is pretty standard. So it's got a manual, it's got a do not eat the battery, little card to tell you not to eat the battery. Okay, so there's the boards. As you can see, it's definitely the same board that's on the screen there. And I'll point out the features starting up in the top left hand corner of the board here. So we got 12 pins of CPU power. We have these nice direct touch heat sinks here on the MOSFET VRM coprocessors. We have our AM5 socket there in the middle. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 fan headers on this board. Dual channel memory there across the 4 slots. We have a total of 4 RGB headers, 3 5V and 1 12V. We've got our ATX power there on the side, obviously. We've got our USB-C and USB 3, and we've got 2 USB 3s on this board. So if you've got a case that had 2 USB 3 headers, this board would accommodate you. We have a total of 6 SATA ports. So 2 of them are horizontally orientated. The other 4 are vertically orientated at the bottom. And I've just spotted a 5th RGB header. We actually have two 12 volt and three 5 volt RGB headers, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe we can hook up 3 different fan groups to 3 different headers, and then we can have more customizable lighting options there over the different headers. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. At the bottom here we got 2 USB 2s, we have a clear CMOS, we have a COM port, we've got a SPI diff header, we've got COM port debug headers here, security module, the TPM, front panel audio, a nice little gold audio capacitors there down the bottom left hand corner of the board. So in the middle here, it looks like, so this bit here, it looks like it might be an M2 slot. It's not actually an M2 slot. So that is actually part of the chipset heatsink. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 M2 slots on this board. Our PCIe X16 with the metal shroud there. Then we've got a PCIe X1 and 2 PCIe X4s there as well. So not too bad. So the rear I/O, you can see it on the screen there. We've got a total of 10 USB ports, 2 USB 2s, and the rest are USB 3.2s and above, including 1 Type-C. We've got 2.5 gigabit LAN, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.2. We've got a little PS2 port there. We've got a flash BIOS button. We've got a HDMI and DisplayPort out. Not that we'll be using them because we have our RTX 4080. You don't want to use the onboard graphics on the CPU there. Okay, and so that's our motherboard. So a pretty good motherboard here from Asus. We've done a few builds on this. If it fits the aesthetic that you're looking for, and you can get this, it's not a bad upgrade. But yeah, it's got to fit the aesthetic that you want. I wouldn't suggest spending more on this board versus a board that you really like the look of, because it's probably going to make negligible difference. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to the main view. Who we got? We got Damon. Hey Damon, how you going? We got Mark saying ahoy. How you going, guys? Good to have you with us. Christine's still at work, so I'm on my own at the moment, so bear with me. I'm not ignoring you. Alright, so I think I've gone... Did I go back to normal view? I sure did. Look at me, I'm a pro now. Okay, so we need to install a couple of M2 offsets here. You don't want to over fasten these things, right? Okay. One M2 screw there. Done. That's our SSD. So now we'll do our RAM. 6000 megahertz CL30 is pretty much the sweet spot for DDR5 RAM in terms of price and performance. So if you go up in speed, you'll also go up in latency, and the higher you go, the less stable your system will become. So you don't want to, you know, get super fast RAM just for the sake of super fast RAM if it's not stable. And there's no point getting super fast RAM if it's at the same time reducing your latency. So just something to consider there. Alrighty, so finally we've got our 9800X3D. So these bad boys are pretty hard to get a hold of at the moment in Australia. Okay. Alright, so that's all sorted. Now let's get our cooler sorted. Okay, so we'll have to change this. We'll have to actually change this cooler around. No, I don't want the Intel bracket. Alright, so you got to take the Intel arms off it, and then you got to put the AMD ones on. Alright, so this is probably one of the most awkward bits of it, is just getting these screws in here. Got to kind of hold the bracket in place while you screw. Once you get the first two in place, it becomes a bit easier. And so yeah, this basically just mounts to the standard AMD backplate. We do have to take off these plastic clips here. Okay, that's all done. So we had a bit of plastic there over the plate, so make sure you take that off, and then you want to apply some thermal compound. So these little tubes they give you, these typically have enough for either 2 or 3 applications. Usually it's about 3. Just to give you a bit of an idea on the ratio that you should be applying, because there's no point putting too much on it, just wastes it. It's not going to do any harm, but it's just a waste. And so yeah, these screws with the springs are really good because they don't let you tighten them too much. It's just so it'll tighten to the optimal pressure. Once the springs get pushed down, the engineers have calculated exactly how tight it should be, and those springs provide resistance right at that point, so it makes your life a lot easier. Okay, so our pump, we can plug that directly into our CPU header. Okay, so we've got our radiator all mounted, and our pump and our radiator, I should say, mounted. Now, let's turn our attention to the case. So, power supply, you can go down to the side for a while, because it's a D11, so you're like the last thing that we put in. I mean, it's not a D11, it's just a D11 knockoff. It's got a nice little warning sticker here. Caution, remove side glass panel first, then the front. I don't know who would try and remove the front first, but hey, people do stupid things. Take the sticky off it so you can get a good look at it when it's actually built. I mean, Antec are old school, right? They've been building cases for, you know, when did they start? In the 90s. Yeah, they go back a while. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. Okay. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Now that's pretty good out back. So I'll point out the features out back here. So you got 2 slots for 3.5-inch drives. You got a couple of 2.5-inch SSD slots here. Honestly, I don't think you really need them because we've got a motherboard with 3 M2 slots, so we're probably not even going to bother using any of those other drives. It's just good for the enthusiast that's moving over their drives from previous rigs and stuff like that. They can accommodate all of those different size drives. A lot of the Lian Li cases only have the ability to mount a couple of 3.5-inch drives and SSDs, but they're in kind of more awkward positions, if you know what I mean. So It looks like here you can actually pull this chassis out here for the 3.5-inch drives, install them, and then just put that little chassis casing that they're in back into the case. So that's pretty handy. Other than that, it looks like a pretty straightforward D11 knockoff here. Got a dust filter on the bottom there. It fits a total of 10 120mm fans. You can put a 140 there at the back if you want, or you can just put a 120. It's up to you. Other than that, yeah, pretty standard D11 form factor. Only difference is with the Antec one, it's like what, $50 to $100 cheaper than the Lian Li version, and it looks just as good in my opinion. So one thing I'll let you know is this glass on the front here has a 45-degree cut. So it's on a perfect 45-degree angle there. And is that the same as... Yes, it is. It's the exact same with the glass side panel. At the front there, the glass is on a 45-degree angle. So you can't really see it there, but the glass kind of like sits together nicely there. Sorry about that, the light's shining through. I've got to get some freaking blackout screens for that. Over there, it's shining on my face. I look like... Fucking look at me. Holy shit. Anyway, so let's get stuck into assembling. So we got some fans to go on here. Oh, that slides off to the front. Oh, that's nice. Sliding off to the front, that makes it easy to change it and stuff. Alright, so we just got some Silverstone fans here. So one thing about fans, if you're not really too fussed and you just want some basic lighting, just get basic fans. You don't have to spend too much on them. The thing about more basic fans is that, you know, they're cheaper. So if something goes wrong with one, you know, a cheap aRGB fan these days is about $10. Call it $15. You know, inflation. So at the end of the day, it's no big deal if one of them dies. It's a freaking $15 thing. And I mean, these fans here, these ones that we're showing here now, these are, you know, at that $15 price point or better. And they're really not that bad. Like I'll show them to you when we unbox them. So these are the Silverstone Air Nexus 120 aRGB. 120 referring to their diameter. And so one good thing about these fans is they're actually the clip together type. So bang, here's our group of fans. So on the bottom here, we're going to mount them into the inlet position. So these three fans on the bottom are going to be pushing cool air in directly onto our graphics card. It's generally the most ideal way of setting up a Lian Li case. There is obviously more than one way to skin a cat. This is what I think works best, based on what I've seen. Some people like to have the cool air intake on the side there. That can work as well. I generally find it's better coming in the bottom there, rather than through the side. Hey, at the end of the day, it's not going to make a great deal of difference. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't notice this. On the bottom of the case, it doesn't actually take 120mm fans. It only takes 140mm fans. Interesting. I do not have any spare 140mm fans. So what we're gonna have to do is we'll just have to use these fans like on the side there and these ones on the top. I'll just have to get a 3-pack of 140mm fans. Let me just have a quick look online. Don't mind me. Alright, let's have a look. Sorry, just let me a quick look. Yeah, okay, so we can get some yeah, okay, sweet. So I'll get 320mm Cooler Master 140mm sickle flow fans on the bottom here instead of the ones that we've got. So that's no big deal. I go through lots of 120mm fans, so that's no problem to have a spare group there. All right. So it shouldn't make any considerable difference here for what we're doing now with the stress test and stuff. I think it'll pass the stress test as is. And if it does, then, well, you know, if it passes without those 3 fans on the bottom, then it's definitely going to pass when we have them installed. But I will say this, okay? So having the 3 140mm on the bottom, in my opinion, is a really good thing, because it lets you actually balance the airflow a little bit better when your intake is on the bottom, and if you want to have all of the other fans in the exhaust position. These screws that I got with the fans have a really skinny top, and it's like too skinny for the case. So I'm gonna have to refer to my bolts I prepared earlier here for some bolts with a thicker top. Alright, you're not going anywhere now. Fucking posse. Well, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? This is probably the most tedious part of doing a D11 case, is all the extra fans that you got to screw in. Alright? Alright, last bolt for this group. Alright, sweet as. So because we don't have those three on the bottom, that's it for the fans so far. And we do have a rear I/O shield to install here at the back. Very good. Let me just catch up on the replies. J-Star goes, watching your stream from a year ago and you're live now. Hey Jay, good to have you here, man. George is here. Hey George, how you going? Good to have you with us. Dean's here. Hey Dean, how you going? Such a pretty case. Yeah, it's excellent, man. It really is. I've got Darren here. Hey Darren, how you going? And we got Chris here. Motherboard with a PCIe 4 slot for a high-end build. So it has PCIe 5. Our SSD is PCIe 4 because you don't really get too much for real world benefit PCIe 4 versus 5. It's more of a flex for the benchmarks and stuff, right? So that's what that's about. When I build PCs, okay, it's not like a PC that I'm building to put for sale in my shop. This is a PC that I design for a customer based on their budget. So, sometimes things like that, like a SSD, we might not have a Gen 5 SSD. The motherboard might take one, but we might not have one. But that's not, you know, that's not a problem. This is exactly as it's designed to be based on that customer's budget and stuff. So, you know, if we all have unlimited budgets, then we can just get whatever the hell freaking parts we want. We don't have to consider how much they cost or anything. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world. So... I mean, I wish we did live in that world, don't get me wrong. Because if we lived in that world, then I would make a lot more money selling PCs. So, you know, that'd be good for me. Alrighty, so this board here, in this case I should say, takes the bolts with the thin thread. So what we'll do is we'll get these 3 bolts in at the top there. Alright, so we'll mount our radiator now to the top of the case. All right. So this one here is getting shipped all the way over to Perth. So this will be a big one. So what'll have to happen with this, due to the weight, it's gonna have to be shipped in 2 different consignments, which makes it a little bit more challenging. That's why if you buy a PC from me and it's got to get shipped over to Perth, if it's one of these big ones like this, the shipping cost goes right up, unfortunately. I can't do anything about it because it's not, you know, it's not my price as such. It's just what I get charged. Alright, well I'll get Christine to take some freaking photos of this thing a bit later. Okay, so got that fan there on the back. All right. Okay, so Sorry, I'm just getting these cable lengths right because I want to make sure that we utilize all three of those fan headers. Really? Okay, alright. Fucking hell, we got there. Okay, so everything's hooked up except for our power supply and our graphics card. It's just a bit annoying that we could only do 140mm fans down the bottom there. Alright, so our power supply. Alright, so here's our ATX power. This is the main power for our motherboard. 20 pins plus a 10 pin into the power supply, and then 24 pins into the motherboard. And we've got one cable here for our CPU. Alright, so that's literally all the cables we need, so that makes it really, really easy. Okay. Okay, so we need a 12 pin into the CPU power up there. So we got two 8 pins, so I need to split one of the 8 pins, and we'll tie it back together. Okay, graphics card time. Alrighty, so we've got a triple slotter. What's wrong with that? Okay, there's our graphics card, our PNY XLR8. So PNY make good cards, low RMA rates, in line with any of the other reputable manufacturers. Okay. So if you just joined us, unfortunately we don't have the three 140mm fans at the bottom. Have to pick them up another day. I wasn't aware that you could only mount 140s at the bottom. Normally a case, if it says it's compatible with 140s at the bottom or anywhere, it's normally also compatible with 120s. Okay, so that is pretty much our build here for tonight. So now let's see if I put it together right. Is there going to be some sort of catastrophic part failure? Okay. Oh, might want to turn on the power supply. Oh, back fan's not spinning. That's really weird. So that spare fan that I plugged in is faulty, is it? Plot thickens. posting, are we? Let's take a stick of RAM out. I wonder if we've got some old stock here. It's just not compatible with our 9800X3D. That could be it. What do you reckon? I haven't had this drama so far, but that could be the issue. Just a sec. Let's put a post beep speaker in it because it doesn't have an LED indicator. Okay. All right. So what are people thinking about this? Has anyone got any idea? Yeah, BIOS update. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Rick. I think me and Rick are on the same page there. I'm pretty sure that's what it'll be. Normally it's okay in this day and age. Most of the boards that you buy these days will be fine, but sometimes you may pick up some old stock. And if you pick up some old stock, you may end up with the situation that I'm in right now. So, I do have an AM5 CPU. It's currently on another board. But we can chuck it in. Okay. Someone's just asked dead RAM. I don't think so. Yeah, there we go. Post. Most probably RAM that's not up to date. So this is version 24.13. Where are we? Well, Okay. Okay, so let's flash a BIOS. There we go. Alright, so we'll do this update, then we'll be able to use our Ryzen 9800X 3D. Don't worry about that, it was meant to turn off just then. Oh, hang on, is this the version where you have to... Hang on a sec. There it goes. I don't know what happened there before. Just didn't turn back on. It's meant to. Alright, so once this is done, we'll get our 9800X3D back into the case, and then we can continue with our build. So, bit of a pain in the ass. This is the kind of shit that you'll go through building your own PC. And unless you got spare CPUs sitting there, you might be in a spot of bother. There we go on the chat. Okay, so where are we at now? Okay, there it goes. Alright, back into BIOS. We'll enable our Expo profile. Oh, stupid me. I didn't put the 9800X 3D back. That's okay. I'll do it before we run our gaming benchmarks. How's that? We'll just keep going for now. Because I don't think we really need it to install Windows. Can you imagine if you needed like an 8-core CPU just to install Windows? Like blue screens if you don't have it. Probably be like that one at some stage. I have this small dog down here. Hear that tap? That's a tail. Christine will be home soon, okay? She'll be home soon. Alright? Soon. She's interesting. You know, I'm the pack leader here, so she's has a certain amount of affection for me. But she really likes Christine, because Christine plays with her. Like, yeah. I don't do that because I had dogs growing up, so I'm used to dogs, and I'm used to training dogs to be good. Whereas Christine doesn't have any experience with dogs, so she loves to like chase them around and bark at them and make them bark back at her and all that. So Bailey really likes Christine because she's the fun one. I'm the serious one. Alright, so these are just some pre pre-downloaded drivers just to get us started. Okay, put down some custom desktop icons so we don't make a mess when we install some basic apps. Alright, so all this stuff that I'm installing, look at the file sizes. These are tiny little apps. They don't take up much room at all. And they're just handy to have here. Things like CPU-Z, Crystal Disk Info, Thermarks for our stress test. Hardware monitor is really handy. Benchmarks here that we run. VLC is really handy. It's the Swiss Army knife of media players. Though a media player is almost getting a little bit obsolete these days, I guess, because people just watch everything like on YouTube or from streaming services. But there's still some stuff that you can't find on those services, and you've got to actually go with the, you know, the raw file. Okay. I've been saying for years I'm going to do a playlist on all the apps that I install. It's just so fucking busy with everything else in life. Just haven't gotten around to doing that. Alright, that's our graphics card driver there. Alright, let's swap our CPU and keep going. Try to make use of some of the thermal paste there that's around the side. Don't want to unnecessarily waste thermal paste. I hate it when it does that. You forget to you forget to frickin' unplug the power supply and you plug in a CPU, you press down on it, like on the thing, and it becomes like connected, and then the frickin' thing just turns itself on. It's like, no, that's not what I want. Seriously? That's better. Alright, so we'll enable our Expo and we can restart. Small dog. Do you want something? Do you want your time? Alright, plug in a LAN cable. Small dog. Do I have to take you out? I think I have to take my dog out to pee. So just bear with me. Okay, took the bloody dog out. Alright, set up MSI Afterburner here. So everything we're selecting here is what we want to see on our overlay. Okay, this is going over to Perth, so let's chuck this onto Perth time, which is GMT plus 8. Okay, so the only thing it hasn't installed is the driver for the onboard CPU graphics. But we tried to install that one, it was giving us grief. It's a really unstable installer, and you try doing it while it's doing Windows updates and it just has a big spec. So we need R23 for our stress test. This will be an ultra stress test because we don't have any intake fans. We just have exhaust fans, but there seems to be a decent amount of airflow coming in the bottom there because all 7 fans are exhaust, so there's cool air coming in through the bottom nonetheless. Christine. Is that Christine? I think it is. It's Christine, isn't it? Hey, is it Christine? Is Christine here? Hey, good old Christine. Do you like Christine? Hey, do you like Christine? Do you like Christine?
Thank you. Hi. Oh, yeah, hi. I love this. You're a good girl. Yeah, hi. Oh, look at you. A tornado. Ooh, watch out. Oi. Yeah, I'm home. I'm home. Wow, hi.
She loves you. She gets so excited when you come in. Yeah, he's been fine. I literally checked on him half an hour ago. He was still asleep. Yeah, food. Food! Yeah. I'm still alive.
Fluffy meow. Wow.
Just waiting for some shit to get
Hi. Are you a fluffy meow?
Wait, babe.
Fucking dog. Really? She's all worked up.
I took her out before and she came coming inside. She walked through the glass thing first.
Did you walk into the glass?
Fucking bang. I suppose. I'm still alive. Okay, so how are we looking over here? Armory crate's done its thing. Alright, that's doing its thing. So let's go ahead and run some of our benchmarks. So heaven, high, no anti-aliasing. Alright, so on the screen here, we've got GPU 1, that's our graphics card, temperature, usage, clock speed, wattage. Mem 1 in green there, that's our VRAM usage and clock speed. Then we got our CPU usage and our RAM usage, and this number here below RAM is how many frames per second it's currently running at. Alrighty, so we're just coming up to the end of the benchmark. What are we going to peak at? There's a spike right at the end. That was 7, no, 906. 906 was the peak there. Alright, so that was Heaven there on high with no anti-aliasing. Next we'll run Valley. Valley's more demanding and we're going to run it on higher settings. So we do the same three on the same settings every night for the same builds, for all builds, so that there's some sort of means for comparison. We can't sit here and install everyone's favorite game while we're doing a live stream, but we can run these benchmarks and it gives you one point of reference.
Fucking hell.
Alright, so that was Valley there on Ultra with max anti-aliasing, and then finally we'll run Superposition, which is our 4K benchmark. We're running on 1080p capture card, so the other two benchmarks can only be run at 1080p, but this benchmark here has this 4K optimized mode, which lets us run an approximation of 4K even through a 1080p card. So Alrighty, so that was superposition there at 4K resolution. And that brings us towards the end of the night now. Alright, so how are we looking over here? That's got to update. That just needs a restart. Alright. So we can do our stress test and sign off. Because I am fucking hungry. Okay. So we'll set this up for a 90-minute run. Alright, so we just log our temperatures over here. And we just let this one run for the next 90 minutes. So as you can see there, our CPU's already nice and toasty, 80 degrees. It can get up to 95 degrees, that's fine. That's exactly what it would be under extreme load there. And our 4080 Super, the GPU can get up to 83 degrees, memory and hotspot up to 100. So no issues there. And it is going to be super stressed because it doesn't have the three 140mm fans down the bottom that it's meant to have. So, yeah, it should be fine.
What year did they start selling the Macintosh?
1971?
No, 1984.
Okay. I'm thinking of something else. I'm not a Mac man.
I'm not a Mac lady, but it's still kind of cool. It's a long time to be selling like PCs.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so, look, we'll throw it over to anyone else who's got anything else to say or any other questions for me before I sign off. I think it's all pretty straightforward at this stage.
There's nowhere for you to sit, dude.
No, we're all good, I think.
And Darren wants to know how much did this one cost?
Oh. This one's been waiting a while because of the 9800 X3D shortages. This would be... Let me do some quick math. This would be about $4,000, 4,000 Australian dollars, roughly. Probably more like 4,500. If anyone's interested in the exact price of this rig, just send me a message on Facebook and I'll be able to look it up on the invoice. But yeah, there's been a few people have been waiting for their X3D chips for ages. There hasn't been many of them. They all disappear as soon as we get them.
And there's limits on how many you can
The
buy.
limits, there's quantity limits are in place from all the big retailers and stuff, so yeah, we're just getting what we can and doing what we can. So I don't have any X3D chips that aren't spoken for. I got another 9800 X3D sitting there, but that's already spoken for. There's a big rig coming in really soon. It's going to be the first 5090 rig. We're going to do it like ideally the day that they drop. We'll be building a 9800 X3D X870-E RTX 5090 rig. It's going to be like the most expensive rig that we've done for a long time, and we're going to be doing it like right around when 5090 launches, so that's going to be exciting. Hopefully we don't get blue screens and all sorts of compatibility bullshit going on with that, but we're going to we'll walk down that road together. It sounds like a bit of fun. I love it when someone's keen, ready to go and try new tech as soon as it launches.
Yeah, the customer's been keen as a bean.
Yeah. Oh, everyone is. I just don't have final pricing and product listings yet. That's the hard thing. But yeah, we'll find out more over the next 7 days. By then, I'm pretty sure I'll probably be able to pre-order from someone. Probably Umart or Scorptech will have like pre-orders. Nah, Umart and Scorptech. What?
Oh, for a second then it sounded like you were going to call them Sport Tech.
Sport
And I
Tech.
was like, what?
Sport Tech. I feel like that used to be a shop or something. Sport Tech. No, Sports Co. Wasn't there a shop called Sports Co or something?
It sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar, right?
Anyway.
But yes, that's all coming up. But the next rig we're building it's a 9800 X3D. We've got a $1,300 ROG Crosshair Hero motherboard. It's the most expensive AM5 board on the market right now. It's got a 4080 Super, but this customer intends to just on-sell the 4080 Super once the 50 series comes out and he can get the card that he wants and all that. But we're going to be putting that all together. It's going in a Deepcool CH560 digital with the digital display incorporated into the side of the case. So that's a nice little case there. It's got some streamers going in there. It's also got a very expensive $600 1250 watt ATX 3 power supply with a titanium efficiency rating. So right up there at the top. It also has functions where you can turn your PC on and off with an app.
That's pretty cool.
That's kind of cool. Like, I mean, there's other ways you can potentially do that, but I do like the sound of how that works through the power supply. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm keen to give it a go and see what happens. So be sure to check that one out. We're going to do it tomorrow night. So be back here around the same time, and we'll put that one together. Alrighty, well, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.